Okay, hello and welcome back to CS38 Racing, and we are starting GP23 career mode. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we're just going to jump in and see what we can do. So obviously, we're going to customize our rider, so CS38 Racing, all good, happy with all that. Helmet. Yeah, I'm happy just to stick with our very basic helmet. Now, we can't use 38 in Moto 3 because David Salvador is running 38. So we've got the option of running 18 or 8, and I think the 8 looks a bit better. So we're going to run 8. We're going to run just a simple name badge there. Let's go with some white gloves, some white knee pads, some white boots. Yup, suit. I prefer Dainese, balanced, breaking leg out, break your fingers, 2 or 4. I think that's fine. Okay, so let's confirm that. Okay, so debut season. Compete in the final races of the Moto3 Championship to prove your value and win yourself a saddle. Are you fast enough to race in MotoGP? We're going to find out. MotoGP 23 career is marked by key moments that will define your season. Placings, podiums, and victories will allow you to change your experience in the World Championship, even radically. Every place you will contribute to making yourself known inside the paddock. If you want to race for the most prestigious teams, increase your status, and fulfill the team objectives. During the market window, you can express your World Championship motorbike and team preferences. But remember, you will have to convince them on and off track that you are the right choice for their ambitions. Continuously evolving, your rivals' abilities evolve gradually with each season, carrying forward your story in the World Championship. At the end of the debut season, you can decide whether to continue your career or start a new one in Moto 3, Moto 2, or MotoGP. Okay. So it looks like our rival is Raisen Ramanaka. And we have to beat him across 2 GPs. So let's go to this feed. Now, this is a new addition to MotoGP career mode, and I think it's a good step in the right direction. We're at the last race of the season, and in spite of a good debut, I think that C Racing has any chance of finishing in front of me. So he doesn't think we're going to do so good. The standings are clear, and it won't be easy to change results. I always aim to do better. I hope I'll manage to convince the paddock to award me a contract for next season. Yeah, let's be a little bit more pacifist. That might give us a little bit more of it'll look good sort of thing. More mature rider coming in to Moto 3. So looks like we're going down to the Petronas Grand Prix of Malaysia at Sepang. So we got some practice sessions, and qualifying looks like we're going to be in for a wet race. Interesting way to start our season. So I'll see you guys down in qualifying with maybe a little summary of the practice sessions before we jump into the race. So we've just come in from the first run in Moto 3. We've managed to pull off a 216.036. Now, off camera in my own practice, I've been finding that when I put the AI difficulty to 120%, I am like 3 or 4 seconds off the pace. So I just thought I'd bump it down to 90 in these runs coming into the first season of Moto 3 just to gauge where the AI are at, because a lot of reviews are saying that the AI are pretty crazy and that the AI will be stupid fast in the race and stupid fast in the practices and quite slow in the races. So I just thought I'd put it at 90% to see how we go going into the full season. That will change the AI to be more realistic and a bit more of a challenge for the career mode season, which obviously makes it more interesting for you guys. Okay, so we've just come in from the second practice, and we've managed to improve and do a time of a 2:15.541. So we're 1.1 seconds off. So it still feels like quite a large amount, but from what I've read in reviews, there's quite a few difficulties around the AI. The AI are quite strong in areas. But anyway, let's skip through to the end of this session and see where our time holds up. So Halgado's done a 2:13.950 by the look of it, if that holds. Yes, that did seem to hold. Oh no, he went faster, a little bit slower than that, a little bit faster than that with 7.3. We're down in 27th, so this isn't looking good for our chances of getting into the top qualifying, seeing that only practice 1 and practice 2 count for continuation into qualifying. So we're here in practice 3. We coming around, we're 3.6 seconds off currently. In the dry, we happen to feel okay. It feels quite good. We're feeling relatively confident, and it seems to make itself quite well, it's very interesting with it to see that we still have quite a bit of impact from the bike just wanting to sit up. So that's why I took a wider line out of into the first corner to try and cut off and get some really good acceleration down the straight. We managed to pull off a 2:15.8, so it's not our fastest time of the weekend, but we're just going to have to see how it goes. So that has put us 3.5 seconds off the pace. So this at the moment is seeming quite abysmal, and I think we're going to have to try and improve our time into qualifying, and hopefully we can get through the top qualifying. If not, it's going to be a very difficult race, and it's going to be very hard to beat Yamanaka. Okay, so we're here in qualifying, and we're going for our hot lap in the first qualifying session here. So coming down into turn 1, we slam on the brakes. We manage to keep it in second gear. We hold second gear for the first and second corner. It is optional to change down to first gear if you feel like you need to. Then we come up through the gears on this right-hander. Now this is where the AI makes up an absolute metric ton of time, because they are so overpowered in mid-corner and exit speed. Even in Moto 3, it's absolutely ridiculous. The only time you're making any sense of improvement is under braking, because they seem to brake crazy early. So yeah, something does need to be done about that to make the game a bit better overall and make the experience a lot more realistic. So anyway, we're coming through turn 6 here, and we're managing to... It's saying that we're holding a faster time currently. I'm not entirely sure how this time will end up for the entire session, but we've just got to keep pushing as hard as we can, because at the end of the day, this is what we need to do to get ourselves as high as possible on the grid. We do not want to be starting at the back of the grid. It would be a really big task to overtake Yamanaka here. Okay, so we've come through turn 10 and we're coming into turn 11. We managed to hit the apex there quite well. We're carrying quite a good amount of speed, and it seems like we're going quite well. So we're coming into this section here. Now this is a tricky corner because you're wanting to put on more power, but you're also having to brake while turning to try and hit the apex to get a really good run down the back straight. We managed to get an okay exit there. Our front tyre is overheating quite a bit, but I think we're going to be okay to get in this lap time, and hopefully it can secure us a place into the next qualifying if possible. But if we're at least in the top 15, I'm happy with that. So that's the aim here. So we managed to get a good line there. We get a good exit with some good drive coming onto the back straight, and it puts us across the line with a 2:15.169. So I think that is actually the fastest lap time of our weekend so far, and we do. We make it into the first qualifying, and we make it to the top. So we've got Kaitatoba with us, as well as Colin Vieje and Rueda. So let's see if we can keep this momentum going into the next qualifying session. So we didn't do so well, but we managed to get 7th, which I think is a pretty good salvage job for the race. Okay, so we're down here on the grid for the race, and it's wet, so we've got a lot of work to do here. The lights stay on for quite a long amount of time, and we're off to an okay start, I guess. You could say it's an okay start. And we're right behind our rival for this first season. They all braked a lot earlier than I was expecting there, so it was a bit like a 10-pin bowling a little bit there. I had to sort of, well, the opposite of 10-pin bowling. I was trying to get out of the way of the pins. And we've managed to hold ourselves in fourth so far. Not a great start, but not a bad start either, so I'd say 50-50. Now, the AI are very aggressive here, so we have to really try and make our way through where we can. If we can, it seems like our best... Oh, as we bump Holgado there. We did not mean to do that, but they brake so early that it makes it impossible not to hit them. So our biggest strategy for this race is obviously going to be using the entry into corners to make time on the brakes, because mid-corner, these AI are crazy overpowered. There's not really much we can do to change that. We're just going to have to make sure that we hold our lines, be aggressive where we can, and hopefully we don't crash. Now, I'm already feeling the bike wiggling around quite a lot. It doesn't feel as stable as it does in the dry. Now, I know you might be saying, of course it's not going to feel as stable in the dry, but... Oh, and there we go. There's another incident where we're trying not to run into the AI that just absolutely park it coming into the corner. So let me explain a little bit of the difference that the bike has here in the wet. It feels a lot different in the sense that... Oh, we're right. Oh, okay, I was just holding my breath there because I thought in GP23 you would crash if you go on those curbs, so I was really cautious there not to crash on the curbs. Into this quarter. Oh, we got some wiggling. Hold it. We're out wide there. Okay, and we didn't crash because normally in 22 you would crash on that curb, and often sometimes the AI would go on that curb and crash as well. So this is quite a... I'd say it's a mixed... Whoa. Diving down the inside there. We've really tried to be late on the brakes because it's the only way we're going to make up time. Off camera, I did do some practice runs in the wet with the AI at 90 and 80%, and even then they were... You could pass them, but they just make up so much time as if they're racing in the dry. They just have so much mid-corner speed and so much exit speed that they don't seem to be affected by the physics the same way as the rider is or the player is, which I think is a little bit disappointing because it doesn't make it necessarily fair. You have to bump down the AI quite a bit, even though you would be faster than that AI level. It's the only way you can actually have some sort of semblance of racing or some semblance of passing without it being absolutely ridiculous. And like in the practices, you could see there were times it was 2 or 3 seconds off the time, so it was quite hard to comprehend where your level is with the AI in this game, as opposed to understanding your pace in the last game. And also the AI are very, very strong. They do not care if you are there in their way, they will just barge straight through. So I've kind of resorted to doing the same thing, and I'll just have to barge my way through because they're going to do the same if you don't do it. So hopefully this does get patched at some point later in the game, because it is it's quite hard to play a game when you have to constantly be changing the AI levels and you're not really knowing if you're improving or going slower or all this kind of stuff. So hopefully this is something that Milestone does fix up at some point during we're cutting the corner a little bit there. So hopefully this is something that they do change and is something that will make the game better, because currently it makes it really hard to play. It makes it really difficult to understand where you are. Like, for example, coming into this quarter, look at the AI. They just make absolute gains there, while my bike's weaving all over the place. I can't manage to hit the apex, and it absolutely compromises my drive onto the back straight. As we say that, Yamanaka's come through on us, so now we're currently -5 points when we're trying to beat him by the end of the season. So, see, they absolutely park it. braking in there hard to make up time, and they absolutely park it before it gets to the corner. So makes that a little bit tricky, and they go out on the curb, and there doesn't seem to really be an adverse effect, although I do think the curbs are better in GP23 than they were in GP22. It still makes you lose time. There's no doubt about that. It absolutely makes you lose time. Okay, so we've got ourselves up into second, and we're really trying to get into a rhythm now and see if we can hold off the pack behind us, or if we're really lucky, see if we can catch up to Holgado. I don't hold out much hope for catching up to Holgado, but it is an aim that we would be looking to have coming into these races, so that's something we've really got to try to do. Okay, so Moreira's come back here on us, but we managed to brake late, really holding the inside line there, just clipping the curbs, being careful because it is wet, so you don't want to be going too hard on this one at all, because if you do, well, it's going to really stuff up your race, and you do not want it to stuff up your race. So one of the big differences, there was no practice sessions in the wet, so this is actually my first time running around in the wet here, and I've been trying, obviously there is a bit of a workaround of the game physics. If you haven't got used to the game physics, which of course you do need to get used to the game physics, I think it's wise to get yourself as fast as possible on the base settings and then make some adjustments, because then you'll still ride like you have to with the base settings, and those settings that you change will really make a dramatic difference, as I'll explain in my upcoming review video, so stay tuned for that. But the big difference here compared to what we were feeling in the practices is the bike just does this sort of back and forth weaving motion all the time, and there's not really any logical reason as to why it's doing that. It's not like we're going any faster or anything like that, but we just have zero stability into this corner. See how Moreira just absolutely overtook us as if we were sitting still, which theoretically we were. We just had no speed on that corner. I had no confidence that the tyre was going to hold out on that right hand side. So we do manage to come back again on the straight, and this is our main area where we make up time into this last corner, just absolutely banging onto the brakes and then trying to get as clean an exit as possible to get as much speed down the front straight. So the other thing is fuel and tyre consumption, that's not the right word, tyre wear and fuel consumption have been improved. Personally, in my opinion, I think it has improved for this game. I mean, it's proportionate to race distance, which gives it that little bit more of an immersion feeling. It does have to make you think about what you're doing in the race and how you're riding, if you can last to the end. Do you have enough fuel to last to the end? Do your tyres, will they last you to survive a last lap battle? All these kind of things. And I think this is a really good step up in the game. It's a great level of immersion. But yeah, we just have to see how it goes into other classes. Of course, we're only in Moto 3 and it's in the wet, so we haven't had a dry race yet to compare how that would actually work. Anyway, coming into 4 of 6 laps, we're still holding second. We're 1.6 off Holgado. Holgado is absolutely having an excellent race here, really proving his talent and his ability to lead the front of the Moto 3 pack. As we're currently seeing in the Moto 3 season, he's doing quite well to be able to hold championship leads and is really progressing quite well. So we've got Ortola behind us, Sasaki in 4th and Moreira in 5th, Suzuki 7, Masia, his teammate, is just behind him in 7th, and Yamanaka is in 8th. So currently we're gaining 8 points on Yamanaka coming into the final 2 rounds of the I don't know what you call it. It's almost like we have points in the standings if we've been racing all year, so I guess it's kind of like a rookie season. But I think it's meant to more act like a wildcard system, and that's something I think I found a bit confusing coming into this first MotoGP. Whoa, there we go. Ortola's come through on the inside of us there, because we just have absolutely zero feeling into that corner, and it loses us a ton of time per lap. So hopefully we can make sure that we minimize the impact of that where possible. Again, we dive down into this last corner, we slam the brakes on and try and hit a late apex to cut the corner to give ourselves some really good drive down the main straight. Okay, so we're coming into 5 or 6 laps. We've got about another lap of fuel left in the tank, and the tyre wear's going quite well. So I think overall I'm quite happy with this race so far. It's seeming quite good. We're seeming relatively confident. I mean, the bike doesn't feel as strong, but maybe that's something that will develop in our next season when we have the ability to develop the bike. We might be able to, we might be on a different bike. We might not be on a KTM. We might be on a Honda. We might be on a Husqvarna, which I know is KTM, but it might be with different. See, we can make a lot of time here on Holgado, and we're not able to maintain that gain in the mid-corner or on exit, which is really frustrating because we're really, really trying to keep Moto3, the aim of the game is corner speed. It's maintaining corner speed, it's maintaining a high corner speed, and this is something that we're not able to do with the physics. So as much as I do think it's a better step physics-wise, I mean, we're not crashing all the time on the front, which I think in GP22 was a big problem, was definitely the front brake physics. This has made a step from that, but now it's more like an oversteer game. So, whoa, there we go, we're tight on the brakes, we're looking for a dive, we've pushed him out of the way there, we had to be a bit rough there to see if we can ruffle his feathers. We got the undercut. Is it possible that we could get a win out of this? Oh, the bike's switching. No, Holgado's back through. We've managed to lose a lot of time again on the mid-corner. That's the main thing that we're losing time with. We've really got to try and not lose time on the mid-corner. But there, we get some good speed through that corner, but then it's all of that speed that we gain absolutely lost in seconds. So we're already... Let's look at this. By the time we exit this corner, we're basically a second off Holgado, and we were leading into that corner, so we lost a lot of time in that corner. I don't know what it is. I've tried to change my riding style as the race has progressed, but it doesn't seem to change anything, and we can come back at Holgado on the brakes, but it is a bit of wishful thinking. Hopefully we can get some good drive. We've got the inside line here. If we shuffle him out to the side a bit, didn't budge. But I mean, that is something I do find positive about the 23 game. So far, when you tap the other riders, they don't go crashing down. I think that is a really good thing because riders do bump and barge a little, particularly in Moto3. There's lots of rubbing is racing kind of thing, and I think that's good to make that realistic. But also, I haven't seen any crash from the AI, which a wet track in Malaysia, there's definitely going to be crashes and mistakes. So I haven't really seen the AI make any mistakes, and I think they should make mistakes because it makes it another level of immersion. Oh, we're deep there. That was not what we were aiming to do. That was quite a deep corner. But I wasn't expecting us to be leading on the final lap, so hopefully we can hold... Oh, just as I say that, Holgado's got some great speed through here. He's really, really... Excuse me. He's really got some good drive there, and he's absolutely taking the fight to us here, and we're really pushing ourselves to try and maintain this speed and momentum, also knowing that we're going to lose a ton of time coming into that corner before the back straight. So we're really trying to make ourselves have as big a gap as possible. I mean, we've got 0.7 of a second coming into the corner. Then look at this. I bet you Holgado will be up the inside here on this next corner. So we're just trying to... Oh, we had a bit of a kick there. And the bike is just weaving around. It's making us lose more and more time. Which we obviously... Let's see. There we go. Holgado's through. We're holding this inside line. He's swinging his arms around. Fair enough. Now look at that. Bam. We had absolutely no speed. Oh, that contact has put us wide. Oh, I do not like this green stuff. This looks very slippery. Oh, okay, we managed to hold that there. Okay, so it's not the best scenario, but it's still okay because we're level points with Yamanaka. So that's a great starting point to at least decrease the deficit that we had to Halgado, and we're going for a dive. It's a bit of an audacious dive. It's very audacious. Okay, let's see if we can get the cutback on Ortola here, see if we can maybe salvage ourselves a podium for our first race. Oh, no, we're on the curbs. That's lost us drive, and that's goodbye to the podium. But overall, 4th is a pretty good start. I'm happy with that. We're in front of Yamanaka. That's all we needed to do. We did get the fastest lap of the race, but of course we did bump down the AI because it was just crazy how fast they're going, and as you can see, they're even really crazy to race in the race in the wet because they've got so much corner speed. But anyway, it's a good start. We're doing okay. We need to continue to have this momentum into the following races.